Rev, let's talk about, you talked about gender and race. Let's talk about race. Donald Trump fared very well with Hispanic voters, especially Hispanic men. The numbers are coming in still a little early, but I think he did better with black men than was expected in the past. What do you think pushed that, especially with the Hispanic voters going for Donald Trump as much as they did? Because that made a big difference.
I think that a lot of it was he was able to sell a lot of Hispanic voters that immigration was a threat to them, that some of the people coming across the border was a threat to them. I think that we've got to be honest, among Hispanic men and black men, there's a lot of misogyny. And I think that we've got to deal with the reality that he appealed to this whole false macho thing that some black men and some Latino men went for. I think that we cannot sit around just bedwetting. We've got to deal with the reality, and we've got to deal with the situation as it is in our own communities.
Well,
so nobody wanted to vote for her, so now it's misogyny, bro. Like, why y'all keep putting labels on everybody? Because somebody don't agree with you. Why can't just be we don't agree with you?
You know what happened, bro? They did this shit for the past 4 years, and that's why they got no votes. The reason why this happened is what they're doing right now. You sitting here talking about, well, this is why. No. The reason is because of what you just said. You said because we did not agree with you that we hate women, and turn around, bash us for not giving the vote. You're not gonna get the vote like that.
They're never gonna get the vote. I mean, people are not gonna forget what happened today. People aren't gonna forget the initial response on day one. I mean, social media has been absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's sad.
Constant insults, constant like people posting stories and shit. Like, people aren't gonna forget this. Like,
exactly.
No, this is what I want to say. If you're black and you really think you finna be in slavery in 2024, you might be the most ignorant person I have ever met in this world.
You can't really.
You cannot talk to me no more if you really think you finna be a slave in today's society.
I just say, Rev, really quickly too. Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest.
Thank you.
And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from black men.
Blame
Things
it on the
we've all
black
been
guy.
talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, a lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot
and
of,
with other Hispanics. You've got some that don't like each other. And some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men. I mean, misogynist things. So you're absolutely right. It's not simplistic.
He might not be wrong by that. They are shooting themselves in the foot. He might not be wrong by that. I know some that said, man, fuck that.
Listen,
Black men voted 70%.
As a matter of fact, you might be the cause of this shit, man.
Me?
Hell yeah.
Fox.
But you said on Fox. Man.
Yeah. They do got me on 4K saying that on television.
Answer the question.
Y'all seen that black man?
Say that.
Y'all seen that black man on Fox say,
Listen. The mainstream media is about to lose all its credibility. It's about to lose all its grips. And all they're doing by doing this is digging themselves in a deeper hole.
The blanket statement saying black men are misogynists. That's why they didn't vote as well for Kamala. How does that make sense whenever still 70 to 75% of black men voted for Kamala? So you got so now the ones you do got on your side are hearing this. Are they about to switch teams too? So keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. You helping the Republican Party.
They're blaming everybody for the loss. I mean, they're just
no,
not
they can do that.
Men.
And they're gonna help. They're gonna
white
keep
women.
And that's why we saw year after year, election after election, the minority votes for the Democratic Party has gone down and down, and it's gonna continue to go down.
Oh, it's about to go. It's about to. Oh, you think it's bad now? This next election? Oh yeah, let this continue.
They'll keep doing this.
No, it's about to. The margins are gonna continually increase. as long as we have these people on here insulting people, calling people names, and it's just not going to end well for them.
This is so weird, bro.
And you have to, within that, figure out how to win. And I think there's a lot of very legitimate discussion here about how Democrats lost this.
Yep.
But I just got a text from a member of Congress saying, something else we need to look at is how people are turning to social media, podcasts, and other non-traditional sources for their news, and also news stations that aren't news.
I told y'all.
And I canvassed in all of the battlegrounds. I was shocked by the amount of misinformation voters were truly repeating back to me. Truly shocked. I do believe this is what caused the collapse of the Democrats nationwide. You cannot win when people believe lies.
But
I think that's fair too.
Y'all really got on TV every day and told us that Joe Biden was fine.
You want to know why? You want to know why they believe it's lies? It's because it's not the message that they're promoting. Anything that the mainstream media cannot get their hands on and get their grips on and spread as their own agenda and their own message is going to be discredited. It's going to be. I mean, they're going to do all these things to try to restore their credibility. But as we've seen in the charts, they've been losing credibility for some time now, and I think. After this election, I mean, we've seen the power of grassroots. I mean, I think the podcasts are what got Trump and JD elected. I mean,
mainstream media called this man Hitler, and he won.
But that's the thing though, because that proves that but that proves how the mainstream media they have to give a certain message. So whenever people can give an alternate message, and other people are like, "Hold on, that resonates with me." Yeah. Like they keeping it real.
Yeah, America. I feel like we needed.
Doesn't that further prove that y'all are actually the ones spreading misinformation? After y'all been caught,
we needed this.
Sued for.
We don't have no script. We're going strictly off of it's no
we
script
raw
in here.
Dogging it.
If the Democrats
professional raw dogger.
If they weren't so extreme, and Kamala was better, I don't know how it would have turned out.
I'm just the constant stream of insults.
Needed this though.
The constant stream of insults, calling everything that you can't control misinformation, disinformation, things that are actually factual, misinformation, disinformation, fear-mongering, and all these other things have led us to this point. And right now, I think the media has done a good job at stirring civil unrest. I mean, I think it's like a volcano that's erupting. I think it's going to continually get uglier.
No, that's why I said we don't know what's finna happen. We got like a whole week right now. So we got to see.
By a couple months to Trump get in, it's going to be a process.
It's going to be fine.
Claire McCaskill, your thoughts this morning?
Well, first, I think we have to acknowledge that Donald Trump knows our country better than we do.
Duh.
I think he figured out
you guys are old and out
that
of touch.
Anger and, frankly, fear were way more powerful than appealing to people's better angels. That anger and fear were going to work in this election.
Wow.
Whether you're afraid of immigrants or afraid of people who are trans.
Him a Nazi.
He figured that out. And I think we all thought everyone's better angels would prevail. Turns out the better angels went on vacation when Donald Trump came down the escalator, and they haven't returned. And I listen, credit to Susie Wiles and Chris Savita. And I think that is something that will be talked about for a long time. Books will be written about it. His assassination attempt helped. But keep in mind where he made the most ground, where he made up the most ground, was first with Hispanic voters, knowing how he's talked about Hispanic people in this campaign. Let that sit for a moment. The second one was, in fact, in urban areas. He did much better. That was the second area he did much better. And the last one was with young voters. I think the Democratic Party was so cocksure that young people would reject this guy because they see a different America than he does. Turns out he appealed to their grievance and their anger and their fear just as much as he was appealing to white folks in rural America that aren't college educated.
Because nobody want to see that weird stuff y'all are trying to promote. Y'all trying to promote furries. Y'all trying to have kids.
Too far. They went too far.
Y'all had women in these sports.
Way too far.
I have something to say. It's very interesting and hypocritical of a Democrat to say that Trump played on people's fears and anger.
Man,
That's 100% what y'all did. I saw something where they said if they're claiming the other side did it on the news, it's exactly what they're doing. And that is a fact. That's 100% what you guys did. You played on people's fear of Trump. You played on people's anger of Trump. And y'all played on that this whole campaign while also tagging in and insulting his followers, or I won't say his followers, but his supporters, the people who want to vote for him, and calling them all these labels and names and all these things. And look at what it got you. And now you guys are sitting here in the aftermath of your own doing in a hole that you dug yourself in, and you're blaming everything but looking in the mirror. The one thing she did say, the one thing that she did say that's a fact is Trump knows the country better than you. I mean, the people know that we're going downhill, and he addressed that. And he also came across as personable and showed himself in a light that was enough to get him a landslide victory. And I mean, you guys can't be mad about it because this is your own fault.
Well, no, I think
Kamala
also
wasn't a good candidate.
She wasn't a good candidate.
That is
but
the case.
She wasn't a good candidate, but look at what they did. They propped her up, and people bought it. People took that and ran with it.
You know what I heard that made a lot of voters vote for Trump? They said a lot of people like on the college campus said when she didn't hop on the Joe Rogan podcast, that made them feel like she was scripted too bad.
Boy, you know, I think a lot of it was. You know what's crazy? Mention P. He also predicted. He said it was crazy. I was listening to the Full Send podcast today. He predicted the exact states. He was like, swing states. I think he's gonna win these ones, and he probably won't win this one. He predicted it all like perfect. And then he was also
won
like,
them all, though.
yeah, no, but he lost only.
He didn't lose any
Virginia.
swing state.
What state
That
was it?
wasn't a swing state.
Yeah, I guess he won Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the only one he got wrong because he said he don't think he would win Michigan, but he did. Yeah, Trump.
I called that one.
You did. No, but no, he was saying like, okay, so a lot of men were probably like the reason why there was such a influx of men that voted for Trump this time from all races was because like, okay, typically, especially young men specifically, they're talking about. He said a young man's gonna be like, you know, if I get time today, like I'll vote, you know, this and that. Like they might not be that deep into it. Yeah. But then when they keep hearing like all this, they're saying like the stuff that he just said, what they're saying now about how misogynist and this and that. Joe Biden called the supporters trash the other day. He was like, oh yeah, all right, bet. Now I'm finna go vote now. And so they actually shot themselves in the foot with that
the whole time.
I told you, every time they get on these networks and they gaslight and they insult and they do all this shit, it backfires. And what they've done is dug themselves in a hole, and it's only getting deeper. And I think that the Trump presidency is only going to make it deeper as they try to stroke the flames of civil unrest that they've built. And I mean, we're seeing it implode right now on social media. People are literally losing their mind. I'm seeing people screaming and crying and banging and all this stuff. People I know posting pictures. I'm losing followers and shit. I'm like, man, y'all tripping.
I don't care.
Y'all tripping.
But in the end, you know, if they didn't make their numbers and essentially exceed the numbers that Joe Biden had in the suburbs, and I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. That is what it appears happened in that state, is that if you can't flip enough white women, and we've talked about this on this set numerous times, is that you have a state where you've got a 6-week abortion or a 12-week abortion. I think theirs might be 12 weeks. Yep. But it's a state where women lost their reproductive rights, where there was a very heavy push to get women to focus on not putting in place, re-electing, putting back into the White House the person who was responsible for taking those rights away and restoring them. But that message obviously was not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy. And
it's everybody's fault, bro.
It's everybody's fault besides Kamala's.
It's everybody's fault.
If you take this makeup off Joy Reid and throw her in Africa, she might actually look like
bro, relax, bro.
She might look like one of
Relax,
them.
bro.
Is she a real black? Is she a real African American?
She's born in America, but she's a daughter of immigrants. I mean, you see she was wearing the Guyanese flag. I mean, you see she bald headed, her hair don't grow. So she got them African genes.
About the immigrants too. How they keep on saying, Trump said all these bad things about the Latinos and da-da-da-da-da. No. See, I seen Latinos on Twitter getting mad today. They're saying, no, there's a difference between illegals and legals. So y'all are just grouping us all. If you're Latino, you're illegal. That's racist.
I think it's offensive.
That is literally racist.
I think it's very offensive to think that Latinos are just supposed to be in favor of Trump because of illegal immigration. I mean, people who
that's basically saying they all illegals.
That's what, no,
exactly.
No, you know what's crazy?
Like
you know what's crazy? That's another thing that people have been spreading. oh, y'all know what's going to happen when the police get immunity. I don't think you know what the immunity means. And they're saying, oh, the new illegal laws is going to hurt all these Hispanics, and they still voted for Trump. Like, so all black men are crime committers and should be fearful of the police, and all Hispanics are illegal immigrants.
That's another one I saw.
That is they don't understand how ridiculous this logic is. What you guys are doing is continually digging yourself a hole that you're not going to get out. And I've said that 3 times now. Yeah. But we have to keep harping on
that's
that.
why all the people are coming
happening
to the right, bro, because they sick of this.
I can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy simply because of what he's told us, what he wants to do, simply because of what the Supreme Court decided in terms of immunity. I mean, he has said he wants to go after his political enemies. I am your retribution. So if indeed what Fox is reporting, if that ends up being true and ends up being the case, then this conversation about who we are as a country, I was going to say will pop off in earnest, but I think we will have an answer, especially because I'm looking over your shoulder. Right now, Donald Trump has 51.2% of total votes. 51.2.
Okay, I wanted to point out something. That dude has a white husband. Husband. These people swear everybody's so racist, but at the same time, they go into bed with the racists.
This morning, this is about as bleak as any time for Democrats since the so-called 1984 San Francisco Democrats. It's time for the Democrats to take a good, long, hard look at how this happened. And if they just say Trump bad, Democrats virtuous, they're going to keep losing. Because this, again, is so widespread. This is not about just Donald Trump. This is about the Democratic Party and being radically disconnected from the rest of the country. Look at the map.
Wow.
Okay, Joe.
Wow, there's some logic right there.
Well, I don't think we can win off this. No shit, buddy.
Maybe if you had a better candidate. What does everybody say about Obama? He was great. People on the right say what? He was a good candidate. So it's almost like this time, y'all chose a bad candidate.
No.
Well, actually, they didn't even get.
Obama got a son? They need to get his son or something.
He only got daughters.
She was a bad candidate, and we're misogynist for
not even that.
Wow.
You didn't even get the choice to vote for her to be in that position.
Primary.
Yeah, that's true.
And you wonder why? And then I'm done.
They said the number one problem for America was a threat to democracy, and we see who was the threat to democracy. So
because she didn't
all
go through democracy to get there.
Exactly. So
Basil, your top takeaways. What message did American voters send?
Well, a good chunk of the American voter wanted to take their country back, and we will soon see what that means. There are levels of sexism and racism that clearly a lot of people in this country are willing to tolerate, which is also something that, we may have woken up in the same country in a sense, but that becomes much more clear this morning. I would also say that there were conversations for over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks about how Black men weren't doing their part. Black people did their part and did everything they needed to do, including the black woman who ran. So this isn't, and going to a point that Mike Memoli had made earlier, this isn't a Democratic problem per se, because it's not a problem that can be solved with a campaign. These are deep-rooted issues in our country that we absolutely need to address.
Everybody forgot that the whole Democratic Party was trying to tell boys and girls that they can be the opposite sex than what they really are. You don't think parents...
They lost a lot of people with that.
You think the parents is not paying attention to this?
They lost a lot of people with that.
So like...
A lot of people didn't even know that.
I mean, it's just
but
true.
people, anybody who heard that, if
that
you took a
turns you
poll
off
of America,
immediately.
if you took a poll of America, just like we just did yesterday, and we said,
90-10.
how many Americans agree with gender affirming care for people under the age of 18? I bet it would be
95.
Close to, like it got to be over.
You
90%.
can't get a gun, a tattoo, all these things,
none of these
but you
things.
could change your whole ginger.
Nothing.
Bro, I heard somebody ranting. They was crying. They were crying. They said this shows how money hungry America is, and they don't care about their democracy. They just care
the
about their
victims,
money. So
They're known for being victims.
So-
the victims are being victims.
Are you saying the economy was better under Trump?
Guys, we just got to keep it 100 here. You guys just constantly insulted everybody, and now you're calling everybody sexist, racist, and misogynist, and then you're just doing all these things.
We just got sick of it, bro. We got sick of it.
American voter. I mean, really, at the end of the day, we just have to look at what candidates spoke better to the American people and leave it at that. Y'all said democracy was on the line. Y'all gave y'all spiel, and it didn't work. At the end of the day, just say you lost. Just say the American people heard what we had to say. They saw all the facts, and they made the decision. You don't have to make inferences or assumptions and labels to why they made the decision. Just say they made the decision. They weighed the two options, and the people spoke decisively. The people. This was not something that came down to the wire. This was a decisive, complete victory. Popular vote, electoral college, sweep, dub.
What I was saying was for the first 6 months of 2025. Whatever successes we're going to get on this TV show and claim that Donald Trump has had are going to be because of the simple fact that the policies put in place were working, and people will begin to feel it by then, although they don't feel it now.
Right, before we wrap up here, Alex Thompson, you have been covering the Biden campaign, followed by the very abbreviated Harris campaign. We have not heard from her yet. We expect to hear from her in the morning. What are you hearing from inside the campaign right now about how they think this happened? What the questions are that are being raised? I mean, I certainly have already heard some quiet so far, but people saying, well, if Joe Biden had still been at the top of the ticket, would this have been different? I'm, of course, skeptical of that, but I want to know what you're hearing.
Yeah, the finger pointing is already starting, and it's only going to become more direct. I'll just give you two quotes from people that I talked to tonight. This is a former Biden advisor. How do you spend $1 billion and not win? What the F?
Well done. There's a lot of F-bombs that get thrown.
What has the Harris campaign been saying to Democrats?
Well, Sandra, they actually haven't told any of their own surrogates anything, including what to tell their donors or even how to understand what happened last night. We don't know what the vice president is going to say this afternoon, aside from conceding this election, because some sources are admitting to me right now the Democrat Party is soul searching. As one person put it, the Democratic Party has no leader right now, period, because they cast Joe Biden, the sitting president, aside, and the candidate that they installed lost really big. Not only was the party very far out of touch with the majority of the electorate on big issues like immigration and the economy, but their strategy of telling people not to believe their lying eyes just simply did not work. A few sources are beginning to acknowledge to me that the Democratic Party sort of living within this liberal media echo chamber confirmed internal biases that ended up giving a skewed perception of reality. Part of the autopsy right now is probing whether or not they would have fared better if Joe Biden had stayed in the race. Listen.
I think it's hard to look back and talk about what could have or might have or should have been. President Biden has a very strong legislative record of bipartisan accomplishments, but we are going to have to sit down as a Democratic Party and look hard at why that didn't compel more folks to come out and vote for Democratic candidates, both in the Senate and in our presidential candidate, Vice President Harris.
Now, one Harris surrogate told me that all the headlines that we've been watching for the last several weeks were also being read within her circles, and people were raising the alarm, for instance, about her failure to clearly articulate her policy positions and focusing so much on threats to democracy.
One thing that I think she knows was a mistake was to say on The View that she couldn't think of a single thing that she would do differently from the Biden administration. Wow. That was opener for her to show Americans that she's going to get tough on the border, that she's going to take drastic measures to bring down inflation. That was her chance.
Great point.
The question now is, how long did the campaign know that she was going to lose this election? As we pointed out on Monday, over the weekend, they were not sending many positive signals when that early voting data was coming in. And so internally, there is some wonder about whether or not they were all just sort of blinded by hope and how long they knew that her chances were very slim and why that wasn't shared more widely within the Democratic Party circles and the circles within the campaign. Sandra.
Well said.
It's almost like the delusional were delusional.
You okay?
I think I'm okay.
She's crying.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of her. I don't think people realize how hard it is to get to where she was.
She was handed a position.
As a woman, getting elected DA, it's not easy, guys. People don't trust women to be in charge of making decisions about life and death and crime and being, frankly, a supervisor in some ways over police. Her fighting through the primary thicket of California politics to become Attorney General, really hard. I mean, this is really hard stuff.
Willie Brown was really hard.
For her to be selected as vice president after what I think she would tell you was a very disappointing presidential race, where I think she kind of lost her footing and was listening too much to consultants, frankly, and it didn't really exude who she was. And then to be vice president and to step into the most difficult situation in the world, where she had to be completely loyal to Joe Biden and respectful of the fact that he had chosen her, but yet maneuver in a situation. I mean, such political skill. It is just inspiring. People who don't understand what she had to do.
She put ass on the stage.
Get to this moment. And so I'm just very proud of her.
She didn't even get elected. She didn't get elected to have the position that she was in.
She shook ass on the stage, guys.
She didn't shake it.
She had people up
She had it shook it.
I think if she would have got some better people to come speak out in favor of her rather than all celebrities and entertainers, I think maybe she would have convinced the people. But probably not, But probably not, But I mean, I don't know.
You know what it was?
I just think as the voters that were supporting her are outraged, I want you to go back and just watch the interviews and just watch the interviews that she put out on the final when she went on that media spree. And tell me, what the hell are you so mad for?
And she wouldn't, like she said, she did make one point that she had to either say Joe was tweaking and I'm gonna change, or you're not gonna win.
You heard what the view said?
I mean, if you want to win, you got to differentiate yourself from what you listen.
Because they did the poll, 74% of America thought we were in the wrong direction.
The view said,
so knowing that, why would you say you're not gonna do much different? That's not smart.
She was.
It doesn't take I'm not a political. I don't like.
She could have won.
I could figure that. These people say this movie. Okay, he's driving. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'll take y'all this way
and say I don't agree with Joe Biden.
You had to.
That's what exactly she had to do. She had to diss Joe.
She had to.
She had to diss Joe, and she didn't diss Joe.
That shows her loyalty, and we need to vote for her because she's loyal to Joe Biden.
People who don't understand what she had to do to get to this moment. And so I'm just very proud of her.
We're supposed to be.
So
I was going to say something so bad.
I'm trying to be too emotional because the reality is, Miss Shyamala came to this country like my mama did. And it's one of the things that when I've interviewed Vice President Harris, we've talked about. Both our mothers came here in the 1960s as immigrants.
We don't care.
And Miss Shyamala raised her an extraordinary daughter. This is an extraordinary woman.
Man, Joy Reid is
and I'm sad for the country that they missed out on the opportunity to see how far she could go.
We need Americans.
Because this is somebody who was given nothing at birth. She wasn't born with $400 million in the bank. She climbed her way to success, both to that prosecutor's office, to that attorney general's office, to that vice presidency after battling Joe Biden and 8 other people in a primary. Got to be vice president of the United States of America. This black and Asian American woman. Shyamala raised a bad girl, man. And I'm proud of the race that she ran, which was almost picture perfect. She raised $1 billion. She did everything right.
It's crazy to me that Joy Reid you know, her parents came to America when it really wasn't the height of racism and everything. And you're actually on here.
Ready to say.
She gets on TV and perpetuates racism.
That's what I was getting.
And you actually didn't really go through. I'm sorry to say this, but did you really go through black struggles for real,
like
woman?
What your parents went through?
So like come on
and look
now.
They raised the daughter.
And then try to call everybody racist.
Come on.
That's weird, woman.
So
my people was actual real life sharecroppers, and look where we at right now. I got a degree.
All these black men at this event. Black men are misogynist? Okay, man. This look like the damn Essence Festival.
Bro,
This look like Mardi Gras.
It's just, I think the reason they're mad that black men, they didn't get all of them. They didn't get 100% of the black vote, and that's why they're bitching and whining. Yeah, and it's like, oh, some of our slaves ran away. Ah, that's what they're doing. You're a bad slave.
They could read. They wrote themselves a pass.
Bring your ass back here, boy.
I'm going to stay on this theme for a moment and call this perhaps the greatest night the Democratic Party can ever have if they lose. And let me explain that. I was very troubled just over 100 days ago when they circumvented the democratic process and anointed somebody. The analogy is easy to a Super Bowl. You arrive at the Super Bowl game, and by any measure, this is the Super Bowl of global politics, a presidential race. Your quarterback, Biden, is injured. He's taken out of the game. You don't bring a quarterback in that's never, ever, ever won any game anywhere. You run a process. And they missed that opportunity. This is a chance for them to, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I'm going to those percentages and saying they get to reboot. They get to go back to the center. They get to scratch this whole thing. And the influences of a Schumer or a Pelosi or a movie star or an Obama deciding to anoint somebody, those guys are gone in 4 years. They won't have that kind of influence. This could be great for America because I'm an investor. I have to work with who's ever in the White House in January. But I care about policy. And when I hear policies coming out of a party that are so twisted against the American way of life, like basically taxing capital gains that are unrealized, that's not America. Or price controls, that's not America. 28% tax rate takes us to the bottom quartile of competition. That's bad. We can't do that. That would hurt the country. And all I do is work with entrepreneurs that want to build businesses. There's a reason people come here under barbed wire and drown in rivers to get into America. It's the American dream. It's the only thing the president has to do is to maintain it. Those policies are against the American dream. And I have nothing against Harris. I mean, look, she did a masterful job in getting to where she is. It would be good for them to lose tonight. It would reset and reboot and get that party back to the center. It would be good for them. They may not want to hear that.
We don't.
But they may have to. You may have to deal with it. You may have to deal with it.
He's definitely right.
I don't think
NBA team tanks to get the first pick.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth.
I think Kevin O'Leary made a lot of great points.
I still believe the Democratic Party is not gonna go center, bro. I don't think they're gonna go center, bro.
Hopefully they do, bro.
I mean, it's their best chance because
They're
they got
not,
these.
bro.
They got these old people who are thinking their words hold weight, and they don't. Obama's word holds no weight with this new generation. I mean, the new coming of age voters are not the voters who put Obama in office, and those people are starting to age out and get older. And it's like the old people telling the young people which way to go, and we, as we know, they're going to go their own way, and we've seen it in this election cycle. I mean, so no young voter gives a damn what Nancy Pelosi thinks. I don't even give a damn what Nancy Pelosi thinks. I'm 25. I'm at 26 now. I don't give a damn what she thinks. To use their influence as if it holds any weight with the new coming of age voters, it means nothing.
The Democrats will never win again. That's what y'all.
I think if they use this same strategy they just use, they're not going to win anything.
I believe, in my personal opinion, I do believe that if they still want to go off the policies that is going on in California, they will never win.
They'll need a strong candidate.
Hold on,
y'all just said that y'all don't think that they will switch.
Listen,
or change up.
Listen,
no,
they said they need to go. If they use this same strategy that they use in this election, this whole strategy, the whole thing, the celebrity endorsements, top down, all this stuff, they're going to continue to get beat.
But y'all just saying they're not going to reboot.
No, I think they're gonna do it and actually have a candidate they vote for,
and they get a repeat, and they need to reevaluate. Like you said, they gotta take their L right now.
But y'all just basically just.
I don't think they're gonna do
that.
I believe that. I actually believe that. I believe they're gonna try to stay on the same policies. They're gonna run off the same.
Well, if they don't reboot, this party's done.
I think they're gonna stick with them.
And if they don't come with a candidate that, because
if they don't reboot, we're going to continually see more people go red.
They're not going to. I promise y'all.
Well, we don't know.
Hopefully how California is how people want life to be like California. Some people really truly want that.
At the same time, though, like Kevin said, bro. I mean, it's only two political parties. He didn't say that, but it's only two political parties. They have to reboot. If this is America, if you want to win, if the Democrats want to win, they have to reboot. So therefore, you basically say they don't want to win. They don't want to win. You said
they won off some policies before.
No,
to get in there.
No, they never had these woke policies like this. Like they're saying right now, they never called anybody.
I'm gonna keep it 100. In 2020, they was saying these radical policies before they got in there.
That's when it started.
That's when it started, and they won off that. So I'm not surprised if they stay with it.
Black Lives Matter, COVID. We know all those reasons, brother.
Hey, I feel like they're that delulu that they will still go off them policies later on.
Okay, well then they're done forever.
This is a mandate. Has won the national popular vote for the first time for a Republican for the first time since 2004. This is a big deal. This isn't backing into the office. This is a mandate to do what you said you were going to do. Get the economy working again for regular working class Americans. Fix immigration. Try to get crime under control. Try to reduce the chaos in the world. This is a mandate from the American people to do that. I think I'm interpreting the results tonight as the revenge of just the regular old working class American, the anonymous American who has been crushed, insulted, condescended to. They're not garbage. They're not Nazis. They're just regular people who get up and go to work every day and are trying to make a better life for their kids, and they feel like they have been told to just shut up when they have complained about the things that are hurting them in their own lives. I also feel like this election, as we sit here and pour over this tonight, is something of an indictment of the political information complex. I mean, we've been sitting around here for the last couple of weeks, and the story that was portrayed was not true. I mean, we were told Puerto Rico was going to change the election. Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley voters, women lying to their husbands. Before that, it was Tim Walz and the camo hats. Night after night after night, we were told all these things and gimmicks were going to somehow push Harris over the line. And we were just ignoring the fundamentals. Inflation, people feeling like that they were barely able to tread water at best. That was the fundamentals of the election. And so I think that both parties should always look at the results of an election and figure out what went right and what went wrong. But I think for all of us who cover elections and talk about elections and do this on a day-to-day basis, we have to figure out how to understand, talk to, and listen to the half of the country that rose up tonight and said, we've had enough.
Hey!
Scott Jennings.
Hey, he owned them. He always could. He owned it. He should have stood up on the table and ripped his suit and be like, man, F all y'all. I sat here and dealt with this shit for years.
This ain't CNN. This SJNN. You know what I'm News Network. Hey, he keep the fucking lights on there. He the only one
we
that has the balls.
Come to the CF fam,
He's
bro.
the only one that has the balls to get up there and keep it 100. And
I think CNN know that, though.
And boy, everybody on that panel, every single person on that panel that he just told that to, kissed Kamala's ass and spread the lies that he talked about. He said everything we came up here and said is not true.
He started listening to all the things.
Ashley, Van Jones, and whoever the hell was else up there, all y'all was up there lying. Every single one of y'all was up here lying, except me. He said all y'all ass is some lies.
I'm putting cases
me.
on all you.
Y'all think y'all can do this to me?
Hell no.
Y'all report news at Pelican Bay.
Pelican Bay.
Scott Jennings, you keep the lights on.
I
that
rock with
CNN.
Scott Jennings, bro.
You keep the lights on that
His
CNN.
is the most like the way he does it. Cause he sits there, you can tell he just taking it. And he said something that one day. That's the only time I seen him get high was that one day.
I don't answer to you.
He was singing that shit that day.
That mean, hey, I'm telling y'all, Scott get up, get black coffee, no sugar, no creamer, just straight black coffee, ready to cook, y'all.
Man, that was great, man.
Oh man, hopefully, guys. I think that the internet and people will calm down. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Nah,
they protesting right now.
Yeah, I don't see this. I don't see this calming down in the next couple of days. It's literally like a bomb. Like people are so upset. Like guys, it's not the literally, it's not the end of the world. Like literally. Well, they're not gonna watch this video. Who the hell am I giving this message to?
Those people that watch this video, somebody said we was the change of a lot of votes.
Most people that watch this video with us, they're on the same side as us, or they're at least reasonable enough to listen to what we have to say. I think the people who are tweaking out and flipping out are gonna see the title and see us on this panel and not want to hear it. They're gonna call us. And they're gonna just their first result is y'all lying, y'all grifting, and y'all doing this for money. They're not gonna sit here and listen to us break this down and factually dive into this information with our true perspectives.
What Scott Jennings said, I don't see anything that was said better than that. Like, and that's the reason why we're on this side, guys. I mean, that's simple as what it is.
Yeah.
You know?